takes in these debates, even people in science, which of course is the process by which we empirically seek truth. Aseem Malhotra is an exception to that sad rule. He's a cardiologist in Great Britain. Early on in the corona pandemic, he was a very public advocate for vaccines. He got one. He called for other people to get them on TV. Didn't think anything about vaccines other than they're great. Then his own father died unexpectedly of a heart attack, and it seemed upon further examination that heart attack was the result of the Pfizer shot that he got. Well, that completely changed this doctor's life. Now he believes, having looked into it much more deeply, that the pharma companies misrepresented the safety of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. He's not a crank, he's just the opposite of that. He's a man committed to science, and for that reason we sat down with him for an hour for a new episode of Tucker Carlson Today. Here's part of it.
After 2 doses of the mRNA vaccine, Pfizer or Moderna, there were increased markers of inflammation linked to coronary artery disease, increasing the risk after just 10 weeks of someone's risk of, say, having a heart attack of 11% in 5 years, right, suddenly jumped to 25% within 2 months. Now, just to put that in perspective, Tucker, if I decided today I was going to smoke 40 cigarettes, I was going to completely stop exercising and just gorge on junk food, I couldn't increase my risk even close to that in that space of time. Absolutely. In this institution, the cardiology research had found by accident, looking at coronary imaging, so imaging of the heart, they found in vaccinated versus unvaccinated huge markers of coronary inflammation, right? A signal from the mRNA vaccines. They then had a meeting and they sat around and they said, listen, the lead researcher said, we're not going to publish these findings because it may affect our funding from the pharmaceutical industry. I think this is the downstream effect, my hypothesis is this, of a psychopathic entity that has had increasing, unchecked, visible and invisible power over our lives over the last 3 decades.
I believe that.
And I think the only way to address this problem is to tackle it at the root, which is, for example, my solutions are these, some very straightforward, simple ones. Although drug industry can be involved in developing drugs, they shouldn't be allowed to then test them and hold on to the raw data. The regulators shouldn't be funded by industry.
Of course not.
And politicians should not be taking money for campaign donations from Big Pharma. One of the primary purposes of government, Tucker, let's just go back to the basics, is to protect their citizens from external aggressors, but also to protect their citizens from disease and to serve the interests of the people.